Let's prepare.
Welcome to the Father's Talk Show. My name is Dan Tchaikovsky, and today we're going to have a very special guest. Usually we have guests from all sorts of walks of life, and we've had many wonderful guests. But today it's going to be a very special one. It's actually going to be the main host of the Father's Talk Show, the lady who came up with the idea. Her name, Margaret Thorli. As you all know her, if you've been watching this show for a while, she's an inspiration to me. She's an inspiration to many people. And we thought, why not interview her? Because, I've known Margaret for a while and I know certain bits and pieces of her life, but I don't know everything and I want to know more. So, Margaret, welcome to the Father's Talk Show. It's a different dynamic this week. And yeah, tell me, how are you today?
A little bit nervous
Okay,
because because I'm actually feel I'm sitting on the hot seat today.
I
But,
know.
but overall, I feel good. I feel good.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, you're on the hot seat today. I'm going to ask you, and the thing is, we haven't prepared these questions at all, so she doesn't know what I'm going to ask. But it's not going to be anything too taxing, not too personal. But who knows? Maybe you might like to share with the audience, some stories from your past as well. So. But yeah, no, the Fathers Talk Show, we're all about helping fathers. We're all about creating the knowledge and education so that fathers can become the best parents that they can be. And it's because of Margaret that this show was started, and she has helped so many different people. So, Margaret, tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start the Fathers Talk Show.
Thank you so much for today taking the opportunity to interview me. And I'm Margaret Thorli. I'm the CEO of Hope and Restoration, which is a non-profitable organization. And the organization has been going for the last 13 years. So it's been a serious journey. What made me started the Father Talk Show? Most time when I walk out there, people ask me, why are you working with men? Why men? And I looked at them and said, "Well, why not? Ask the question." And I think one of the reasons is because of this question, because I felt men are kind of forgotten, you know. But one of the main reason is I actually started the whole process of working with single fathers. I remember one day I just lost my business and I went completely retrained to become a business coach and a mentor. And I got this job working with this incredible company. And we worked in partnership with the job center. And I remember being called just as I was back to do the school run. And I got this phone call from my supervisor and say, "Don't come to the office, go straight to the job center. There is a client that we need you to go and see." Just myself went into the job center, introduced who I was and everything. And they took me to see the client. And he was a father, a single father. And he was pacing the office up and down in the room where we was. A little bit nervous because it was a small room and it's just me and him in this room. And obviously the company we work with, they always say, be mindful of your safety when you go in there. But I kind of like, okay, I prayed. And then I then spoke to him, got him to calm down, got him to sit down, asked him if he wanted coffee. He agreed. And then we then start the conversation. And the whole thing is he just dropped his daughter to school and he didn't have no gas. He's run out of gas, he's run out of electricity. He didn't have no food. He had enough for that the previous day, but not enough for the following day. So obviously, as a parent, you're going to be really, really anxious. So I then sat with him, we spoke, and then I went back to see his job coach. By then, at the time, the job center had this where you can get a soft loan to hold you up for the rest of the month till you get paid. So I went out, spoke to the job coach, asked if that facility is available for him. After the explained, they said, yes, that's great. So I went back, spoke to him, and the job coach came and gave me the form, helped him to fill the form, make sure he was all right. And then I said to him, you should have the money by 2 o'clock. So you'll have enough money to come do what you need to do. And then I booked him for a one-to-one moving forward. And for me, that was the beginning of my journey working with single fathers because I felt they weren't getting the support that they needed. And I remember driving to work and thinking the next business, because I'm all about business, And I said to myself, the next business that I'm going to start is to work with single fathers and lone parents. And lo and behold, 6 months later, I was made redundant.
Yeah, so you got the perfect opportunity, right, to begin something new, to begin something fresh, yes?
Yes, yes. It was a perfect opportunity. But then again, me being a single parent with two boys at the time, and I'm thinking, oh my God, where am I going to get the money from to start a business? So all the anxiety, the worries, the feelings, that you're going to pay the mortgage, how you're going to do this, how you're going to put food on the table, all those came like a storm. Whoosh, you
Yeah.
know. But one of the things that I did, I said, Margaret, you're a business. You've always run businesses. This is a great opportunity for you to start up fresh. And this is it. So I started with Zero Finance, the charity.
And can I ask, is there something specific around your own personal childhood and how you were raised that also contributed to that? Could you perhaps share anything that you may think is relevant?
Almost definitely, because each time I look at myself and I question myself, why am I so passionate in wanting to help people? It's this thing inside me. If I see somebody struggling, I just want to go and take whatever it is and fix it for them. And one day, as I just flick the pages back in my own life and I look at my own childhood, the struggles that I went through, imagine at the age of 14, you became homeless in no fault of your own. You're coming from a loving grandparent family from a hot country that you were free, you go swimming in a school and everything. And then all of a sudden, you're in a strange country. Your parents they didn't get on. Obviously, my stepmother, obviously, I'm a step, so I didn't quite fit in already. And I'm completely new in the country at the same time.
Okay, so
So
you lived with your father initially, yes?
when I lived back home, I lived with my grandparents
Oh,
because
right.
my parents, they already come in the UK in the 60s. So we came and joined them in the late 70s, early 80s. We came
Right,
to join
okay.
them after 10 years, them not being in our lives whatsoever. And obviously, I had the same stepmother that I had back home was over here in England. So yeah.
So how old were you? You said you were 14 when was it when you came? 14?
I think, no, I came over when I was about 13. So,
13.
yes, I spent a year with them and just trying to get to know the system. Obviously, I speak a different language. Then we speak broken English, which we call pidgin English because it's really broken. And trying to learn to speak correctly and at the same time trying to fit in into a family, trying to fit in a new school. So I had all that going. And then, yeah, so that's for me, that was my journey, is become homeless, went through the journey of fostering, when finally social services kind of discovered, because I was the lost child, because social services were looking for me.
But you originally moved from
Sierra Leone,
Suriname to, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. From Suriname to
England.
to live with your parents, right?
Yeah, in England.
Okay, so where what happened after that point, because you said you were um
What happened? I grew up, part of my life grew up in Sierra Leone with my father and my stepmother. And then obviously they came over during the 60s and left us, the children, behind. Okay. And then they worked hard for 10 years and brought all the children. I was the last one, came and joined them here in England. So I came when I was about 13 in England to join my family as the last one. So yeah, that's what happened. So in that year of transiting, getting used to the system, getting used to the school system, getting used to walking to school and all the rest of it and learning the language, that was quite traumatic. And then all of a sudden, by the time I hit 14, I kind of obviously my family, they were fighting here and there. And then obviously being a stepdaughter, I end up get left behind with my
mm,
father for a short period of time. And then kind of that's it. And then didn't get on well with my father and then end up in the streets at
what do
14.
you think it was about your father that was challenging for you, the parts, that you felt he could have been a better father?
Uh, when you have African parents, it's a complete different story altogether, because what they say is what goes.
Yeah.
You are, what's it? What's the saying? You're not supposed to be seen or heard.
Yeah. Same where I come from as well. Same kind of tradition. Kids are not can't talk back, can they?
Yes,
If they talk
yes,
back, it's
yes, you understand.
yeah, yeah,
I understand. I said my stepmother, she was so good with the plates. You've been saying there next meal, and something's coming after you, and you first time you thought it's me next minute.
you're not playing dodgeball with plates, aren't you?
you know. So yeah, so that was part of my life and everything. And I suppose having to think throughout that journey of having to think, I need to survive. All right, I needed to survive the journey of from foster parent into finally finding a children's home and then move on. And I think that kind of inspired me to not wanting to see anybody going through those struggles or any kind of struggles. And yeah, so I think that's what happened to me, that I'm inspired to work with people.
Mm. And if you could look at like this whole society, and and we know there's a lot of kids growing up without sort of good contact with their fathers, what do you think would needs to change really to bring that contact back with fathers, back, to a place where there's a deep bond and connection? Is it society's fault? Is it or society's responsibility? Is it the individual father's responsibility? Is it a combination of everything? What would you say?
I think it's a combination of both, because if we go way back for us as growing up over here, and like our last guest that we had, Dr. Jail, because everything, it was all about conquering. okay, the man conquering this woman, and so that's the start, and that's how they look to it, with the woman, not knowing the importance of having a woman in their life and the children and the importance role of them being in that life. And what he said, it was really great. He says, when you as a man don't have a father in your life and as a role model, you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. All right. And I know I've seen in generation, I've seen it, my father not being that loving father, not even being part of our roles. I've got two brothers. In fact, if you were to fear anybody in our family, it's the women. Our brothers are, we will tell you that. Don't even worry about our brothers. We will stand, because we had to learn that. So in terms of that, and because those men never had the father, they never had the role model, that has created what we have today. And the media is not kind of helping, because what makes me so passionate to shine the spotlight on fathers that wants to be part of their children's life. We're not talking about them. We're not giving them the credibility that they deserve. Rather, what the spotlights has been done is turn it round to the fathers who have decided, because we all have a decision, to not wanting to be part of their children's life. So what the media has done is magnify that side of it. And what I want to do is turn it round. Listen, let's celebrate these men that want to be there. So again, yes, in terms of summarizing your question, it's the men themselves there not having that positive role model for them. So history has repeated to where we are today. The only thing we can do right now is make sure the history stops at us, and so that our children be able to have that positive impact in them.
Yeah, because ultimately that's a very good point, because ultimately it looks like that the way it's set up currently is that a lot of times good fathers can't see their children, and this will just exacerbate a problem that is currently present and make it worse. Whereas you want to bring things into balance to show, look, and in your experience, there's many good fathers that are denied from seeing their children. So yeah, and so out of, and obviously you come across men that perhaps need help with being a good father. So what would you say would be the balance? Are they like 90%, 10% good fathers balance, or what would you say? I know it's a bit of a tricky question.
That's a really good question. The most amazing thing about what I've found out working with men, particularly the last 3 years, kind of focusing them, oh my God, they're amazing fathers. They are amazing fathers, and they will go the 150% for their children in their life. And I've seen that. Like, for example, let me share a story with you. The very first two guys that I worked with when I started the company, that was 2011. All right. He had a great job. He had a great job as an engineering. All right. And all of a sudden, one day he got a call, all right, that the children had not been picked up from school. So the man that normally goes to work, everything's okay, you're providing, and then you got this call. Can you imagine the fear and the panic? So he went to the school, picked up the children, got to the house, and the wife was just everywhere. All right, called the doctors. The doctor says, take her straight to the hospital. Take her to the hospital. She was diagnosed with mental breakdown. And she was kept. So here you are now. You got two children, young children, your job, your work. And you know what? He sacrificed his work to be with his children while the wife had been sectioned. And he did everything. obviously in that journey, he lost his job. And I'm so grateful now because some of the employers are beginning to understand that there are single fathers out there, who need the support, who need to keep their jobs. Back when I started, there wasn't that much understanding there. So it's kind of changing. And for me, through coaching, through mentoring with him, we got him to start his job and he's doing fantastically well with LinkedIn. And whenever I have an event, when I used to do face-to-face kind of training, I'll invite him in. And his kids have finished uni. And now the daughter works as an admin in the office, running the office.
Yeah, yeah.
So he had to sacrifice. But at the end result, when the guys get the great support that they needed, the coaching, oh my God, they do phenomenally well with their children. Fantastic. I've seen it time and time and time again. So yeah.
Yeah, and I see that as well with friends, and yeah, and I'm a father myself, and but I always hear, I hear a lot of women say there's no good men out there. Okay. Now, what would you say to that? Is that true, or is there really no good men out there?
Well, I would say that's a lie.
Yeah.
All right. That is a true lie. One other thing I have to say first, when I started working with men way back and into the Father Talk Show, and then just working with men in a safe space for them to share, I know definitely God had to rewire my brains, how I felt and think of men, and to completely eradicated how I looked at men based on my experience and journey, which some of them not really good. All right. So, and for me, doing the Father Talk Show and working with men, I have a profound respect for men. There are good men out there, incredibly, but we as women, we need to turn the spotlight on us.
In what
And
way?
in what way? Look at us. What are we doing? Where are we? Do we know who we are? We need to ask our questions and we need to say, right, if I hold on to the children and then I stopped him seeing it, how does that impact the children later on in life? I mean, I've never done that. I've always opened the door for the father of my children to come and visit. He chose not to. That is his problem. That is his choice. And I'm just going to have to respect them. So there are really, really good men out there. But the question is, are there really good women out there? That's the question we should be asking.
And that's probably a question that isn't asked so readily as whether there are good men out there as well. And there's many good women out there, but we all have our pains, don't we? We all have our moments, and often when we carry the pain within us, we want to get back at the other person. And one way that women have done that in the past is to withhold contact from
from the fathers.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, God has really blessed me to be able to work with both sides of the fence, working with single lone parents as well as fathers, single fathers. All right. I've had the privilege of working both of the groups. And I always say to the women, what are you benefiting? Holding the child against the dad, not seeing them. What do you want to achieve? And I'll also say to them, for any woman out there who's listening to me, I said, trust me, those kids are going to grow up and they're going to know the true story, what happened between you and their dad. And if they're not, when they find out the true story, you're not going to see those children. they're going to end up disliking you because you've stopped them for having a great relationship with their fathers. So most of the time when I'm working with lone parents, the women's side, I would always reinforce this. What do you want to achieve? And what impact do you think it will have on your children? So again, we as women, we need to go to that journey of working on ourselves and forgiving ourselves. It's like our last guest, when we asked him the question, how long did it take you to heal yourself? And he said, I really needed to work on myself.
Yeah.
And as he did, he met the perfect wife. So it's the same with us.
Yeah. I mean, it's both parties really, you know, both men and women have to heal from that pain that comes through that sense of separation and from everything that, you know, comes up during the marriage and during the relationship. You know, both parties, both male and female, have to work on it. And then perhaps they can reconnect after that. And have you seen that happen a lot where, you know, when forgiveness, you know, shows itself, what in your eyes tends to happen?
Oh my God, the kids become happy
Yeah.
because the two parents, they may not be together or go back together, but when the two parents are having a great communication or come to a point and says, right, let's see how we can work this out for the benefits for our children. My goodness, it's amazing to see because the kids are happy, the man is happy, the woman is happy, and they can both work together for the goodness of their children, for the benefit of their children. I've seen that numerous of times. And one of the story that happened, again, this is a guy who was an IT consultant. He was, that big thing when it came out, you go into the office and you check everything. So he had some really good clients as an IT consultant. And again, met the missus through uni. So they moved together, had a great life, decided to have a child and everything. He stayed home the first 1 or 2 months to help out. And then after he's gone back to work, all right, going back to work, after 2, 3 months, him going back to work, he got a phone call, to say, come home. Must have been the next door neighbor must have called because probably he had the child crying all day long, you know. So he rushed home. There was a nurse looking after the room, and he kind of panicked. All right. So, and this is what he did. All right. Again, it's mental issue. We don't talk about much how mental illness affects and impact a woman after having a child if they don't get the right support. We hear it here and there, but it's not truly discovered yet. So I was so impressed with this guy. I mean, the baby was about 6 months old. Social service wanted to take the child off. He said no. He went to court and he fought for his baby. Right? They were saying, you can't look after him. He says, no, I'm going to have my child. But the great thing of the story was, throughout that journey, he was still able to support his wife. Still able to support, still going out there every day and praying, hoping that she will come back home. And that's how men operates. When they step in the fullness of fatherhood, it's the most amazing and the most powerful thing you can ever see in action. And for me, when I see those men, it has humbled me a great deal. Hence why I'm creating the platform for them to come and share their stories.
Yeah. Do you think there's a case where sometimes wives or partners don't trust the man to be a father, and if they just place their trust in him, he would just step up? Do you ever see that, or do you feel that most wives do actually, trust their father? What do you see?
See both.
Yeah.
And I've seen one case. I mean, it's amazing. As I'm sitting here, more and more cases are kind of testimonials keep coming. I've seen where the woman has not trusted the man enough for him to step up. All right. And I will put that down. It's not so much about the man as well, it's about her. All right. In terms of what I mean about that, it's reflecting her fears. All right. What is her insecurity that she's gathering, that she's carrying? Okay. And I've seen that. And sometimes when I have the conversation with the woman, what is it? And when we trace it all the way down, it's normally they don't have a father in their life. Or they had a father that's come home, but is actually not present, if that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
they now take that into their relationship. Other than look at this man, is actually him, is different, he stands in his own platform of glory. We don't see that. So sometimes we bring that with us. But I've seen the one case that I saw, which was really, I mean, it's one of those coaching sessions. And if you're a coach, you need to keep your emotions, but sometimes you just can't. All right. And one of these guy, he was doing, oh my God, he did all the right things. All right. He's turning over $250,000 every year. So the wife didn't have to worry about anything. Brought the wife in to take care of the other end of the business. Again, for him, and I really identify his story because he felt, one, he wasn't, the missus was so beautiful, didn't deserve her and everything. She's very clever. He isn't. All right. And I really identify his story when he was telling me that story. So what he then did was put the woman to do all the admin, the banking, took care of everything to do on that side while he brought the money home. But through that journey, he lost this kind of manhood because the way now, when the money's coming in, everything's sent to him, the way she was talking to him kind of changes. All right. And yet, he was making sure that the child was doing wonderfully, everything. When the divorce came and everything, and she went all out to take everything, the financial side of it. And the saddest thing is, court system, the police believe more to the woman than him, which impacted, affected his health. All right. But throughout that journey, he still loved the woman. Which was the most painful side for him, still loved the woman, still had the vision and the dream being together, and still fought for the daughter and be able to have custody, share custody with the mother. So I've seen that journey with them so many times. But the great thing about it, he still rose up. As much as he lost everything, he completed the business course with us, through the coaching, through the mentoring, he went on to set up his own kind of organization to help men like him. Because the culture where he was coming from, divorce, no, cannot divorce. So he was an outcast from that. So he went on to say, so I've seen the changes on those men who stand firmly. No matter what the woman did or did not do, I want to be part of that. And what I love about it, as the coaching session and the training coming to an end, he came to me and he said to me, one, I never ever believe there is a workshop only men can attend that workshop. He said, I spoke to you, but I wanted to see who was the person running the workshop.
Mm.
And then he said to me, I knew when I walked in and I spoke to you the first time that I'm going to get the help and the support and the understanding that I needed. And then he ended, and it never, ever entered my head. And he says to me, thank you so much that you never judge us as men in the group or individually or throughout my coaching session. Rather, you listen to me. And when he said that, and even now I'm talking about it, I'm kind of getting emotional. And when he said that, I almost wanted to cry because one, it never entered my head to judge them as men. My whole thing is, hey, this is what I saw, and this is what I want to create for you to have that safe space. So, yeah.
That's beautiful, Margaret, and just amazing to hear, the transformational impact that you've had. Do you think there's something that, often it will be men running a men's group, and women running a women's group. So do you think there's something that unique that you as a woman bring because you're a woman in a man's helping men?
Most definitely. And I get used to that. And sometimes when I actually meet men or I'm attending networks, all right, and I always make sure I have one of these banners, all right, the Father Talk Show or whatever I'm doing with men. So I get the women be more curious, and then the men, there's not that many men in the platform anyway. And for me, running the Father Talk Show, running workshop just for men, the uniqueness side of it is I'm a woman. So I come from a completely different kind of background, not so much background, but bringing different information, kind of different support, kind of different wisdom and knowledge, and coming with that empathy, that caring, that listening, all right, to say, hey, guys, I do understand where you are, and I'm here to help and to give the support that you need, but I'm not here to judge you. And that is something that I always put first front when I'm running a workshop, whatever it is, guys. And that's why I use the word, you're a king. So that, because I'm coming completely different dynamics of it already, because I'm looking at you as a king.
Mm-hmm.
So by looking at you that way, by thinking of you that way, it raises the vibration of how you're going to react to me.
Yeah. So you've always got a good positive response from men because you're looking at them through the eyes of love, and you're looking at them in that way as kings, as someone to be respected and admired, and who's useful, who has qualities, and yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, that's it. And I remember, just the question again, I remember I went to recruit when we first got the funding, the grant to run the workshop. So I went and recruit for men. All right, just for men. So the flyers that I had, it was all the men's face, the father holding a baby and all that kind of thing that attracts men. But rather, when I had the woman came in to talk to me, and they picked up the leaflet and they look at it, and I had one woman who picked up the leaflet because there was a father had the baby and he was on the phone trying to, all the things that you normally see a woman has been doing. But I got that transformed to a man, it's doing all those things. All right. And this woman picked up the flyer and says, this is not true. So I said, why is not true? You don't think men can do that as well? And then he looked at me, why men? Why have you got no flyers there for women? I said, because you know what? I'm sick and tired of working with women. Well, obviously, she wasn't happy. She stormed off. You're not my client. It's not who I want.
Yeah. No, it's very, very, very interesting. But so just, thanks for sharing that. But just with regards to something a little slightly different, what actually, I know each time you have to prepare for the Father's Talk show, and there's certain things that you prepare. Is it? I know you've grown a little bit, sort of technology wise as well as through. We're laughing at this because
you're having fun, right?
hey, I'm usually the famous dude. So yeah, so how, in what other ways have you grown? I know you've grown all about sort of the inner growth, connecting more with men, but what other ways have you grown from doing specifically this show?
One of the things that I've grown a lot, it's that how do I want the show to look like? What story am I sending out there? What is the outcome that I'm looking for? Who do I want to touch and impact? And for me, that's becoming more and more clearer each time we come and do the Father Talk show. And one of the things is it's challenged me a lot as well to do research before I actually come on the show. And at the beginning, I never did. It was like, okay, yeah, let's just get on it. It's the Father Talk show, particularly when we just used to do it when we first started together. And I thank God because we're now having men coming into the show as well. And we've had some people. Thank you to all the men and the women that's come to the show. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I realized, let me do a search on them. And for me, remember the very first research that I did, that actually, and which I can't vouch because I've seen it work, that men are better fathers than women. So I'm thinking, when I first read the article, I'm like, okay, all right. I didn't read the name. I thought, article is written by a man, so they're going to be biased. But actually, when I took time and read the article, and the article was actually written by a woman.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, all right, Margaret. And it was incredible to see those stats. And those are things we're not talking about. For example, one that really impressed me, that when a child is brought up by a single father, all right, they are a lot more stable than those that are brought up by a female, particularly if it's a male child, all right? Because what the man is putting on that, because you're a role model to your son as well as to your girls, to your daughters, all right? And it gives them a lot of stability. There are more men in prison that have been brought up by single mothers than there are young men. A young lady would last longer in a relationship when it's been brought up by the father. And I said, reading the article, and I said, why? And they said, because they're consistent. The father is consistent. If there's boundaries being put in place, those boundaries are not going to be broken.
Mm.
Yeah. And obviously, there's a lot of love. They're a lot more fun to be with. And this was something that I read about of one of the young person they interviewed. He said, I love my father. I don't want to go and stay with my mother. He said, it's fun to be with my father. He said, we have our ups and downs, but I know my father is consistent. It's going to be there. And that was just incredible. And that drew me more to do each time we come to do a research. What is the achievement of single fathers out there and men, so we can highlight those achievements and change the story and change the narrative of it.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what I've learned, and that's what's inspired me, empowered me through the journey.
Yeah, that statistic really surprised me as well, because it was ingrained in my mind so much that women have to be better parents. And it was just, and when you said that to me, I was like, really? You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, because it was just and again, it's just a conditioning thing, you know. but then it would kind of make sense when you look at, for example, the divorce rates as well. Most divorces are initiated again by women.
Yeah.
And even in, you know, like for example, same-sex marriages, gay couples, gay male couples tend to be happier than lesbian couples. They, you know, they tend to stay longer with each other. And like you said, maybe it's because the man traditionally brings with him that stability, that emotional stability.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. It's so important. I've got two boys, all right, two boys, and I had to learn. The father doesn't want to know, right? They don't want to know. Even though I've opened the door for them and have all the possibilities, they didn't want to know. All right. So I already programmed myself. I'm going to go through this journey on my own. But one of the great things about that journey is also I had to learn about my sons. And one of the great things that I put in place, I cannot validate my children, my sons, to be men. All right. It needs a man to validate a man. It needs a father to validate his son. Imagine a father hugging you and a father hugging his son and says, "Son, I love you." Can you imagine how that will do to that child? Even if they've done wrong, they've told them off and whatever it is, but the impact is enormous, powerful. So for me, I knew I couldn't do that. But I know I have got a special gift, some things I can impact to my sons to become better men in the society. All right. I watch my two sons, and they've taken some of my traits, never give up. I've seen my older son go through storms. When I say storms, I know there are times he says, "Mom, I really wish I could have my father here." But what I admire about my son, oh my God, he will go through the storms until he comes through. He doesn't give up because that's what they saw me, and I impact positiveness into them, into their life. That will bring that change into their life when they come into struggles. Like my younger son is the same, all right? He grew through businesses. My God, that child is all about business.
Like his mother.
But what I love about it, even if he's tried so many businesses that never worked, he never gave up. All right. So for me, that's the confidence that I gave them as a woman, to make them, that side of them, to be a better person to themselves and to those who they come across. So for me, yes. But men play a very important into our children's life.
Nice. Beautiful. Yeah, 100%. You know, both parties play a vital role. And, you know, a man's role is just as important as a woman's role, you know, and in certain cases, it's more important. In certain cases, a woman's role is more important.
Yes.
So, you know, so just with regards to, you know, if someone wanted to speak to you, like you know, and reach out to you, a father wanted to reach out to you, is there anything that you have going on at the moment separate to this show, where they could potentially reach out to you and connect and you could help them with?
Most definitely. If any fathers out there after listening to me, they want to connect with us, just send me a DM on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or even YouTube. Just send me a DM. I do look at all those things. I go through them every day and contact people that contact me for different reasons. So yeah, they can send me a Messenger if they go through Facebook, and they can sort of send me a message on Messenger there. I normally instantly pick that up and contact them straight away. So yes, they can do. But apart from that as well, through this journey, what I have learned, and I thank God for this all the time, it's that it has enabled me to create a platform, apart from this one, which is coming out very, very soon, which is called Kings and Queens in a Business Conversation.
Mm.
And that is focusing to bringing the kings out and the women, the queens are, and let's sit down, let's have a conversation. And it doesn't, the whole platform is not going to be about business. It's going to change, but it's about bringing the men and the women together to speak, to talk, to work, to network together. So that is the platform that I'm creating at the moment, and hopefully to have that out very soon. So we got some exciting programs coming in, and I know I have not shared that with you. I'm still working on it, but I'm still working on it because I have the great pleasure of last week interviewing some amazing men. I just saw God's opening the door as I'm stepping forward. He's opening the door, and I'm meeting more and more men, and I'm interviewing. And one of the guys that I interviewed, like we did with Dr. J, all right, remember
Yeah,
with the teddy bear? So I met a guy, and we were talking, and he met his wife on online dating.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And he had all positive things to say. So I want to create a platform where men can come in, just having men, where they talk about their journey on dating, online dating, so that we can encourage other single fathers there. Let's be real. As women, I know when I was bringing up my children, there are times that I would really wish a man's conversation, just a conversation. And I know there are men out there who are feeling the same. You know, I really would love to have just a woman's conversation. Nothing doesn't have to be involved, just having that adult conversation. So those are the platforms that I'm looking at, bringing the men and come and talk to the other single fathers there, or men that are lonely. Other way. So those are the things that I'm working on. So stay tuned and watch this space. We got so much coming for fathers
Yeah.
and men.
Yeah, sounds really exciting, and looking forward to some new guests as well on the show. And we've had some pretty amazing guests, haven't we? Like,
Oh my goodness,
who's
yes.
been your favorite guest? Who's been, I mean, who's been the one that really inspired you the most?
Listen, is that a trick question?
Now, I know there's been a lot, but
I'm gonna say, praise be to God, we have the most amazing speakers and everything. I think the one that stands out for me is Dr. J.L. Otto.
yeah, last
The
week, yeah, he's so
last week
cool.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, for me, that one just cracks me up with his teddy bear. He brings the teddy bear. That really cracks me up. And again, he's a really powerful man as well when he speaks and everything.
yeah,
Lewisham, again, another person. And when we had the Kings in a conversation on Valentine's Day, when he spoke about, relationship, that really impressed me a lot, that a man must date for a purpose and for a reason. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, that was really, but most of every speakers that we have been graced us with the platform, they've been amazing and wonderful speakers.
Yeah. Do you know who I like the most? Was the guy from Venezuela. I forgot his name now.
Oh,
The one
Josh, I think
he was
Josh
no,
just,
he was the CEO of, I think, the pharmaceutical, and he got
Josh,
kidnapped, didn't he? And
yes,
with
yes,
four other guys, and that was a
yeah,
very inspirational story as well.
yeah,
Uh,
oh my God, yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
that was. So who do we have next? Do we have any new speakers coming on board, or that you can
Yes,
share, or
well, we have new speakers coming on board, and we will be discussing that. We have some great speakers, great topics that are coming on board, which I'm looking forward to. But we are going to be opening also the platform some of the conversations to have the women to come in as well. But that is something we'll sit together, and then for the next show that we know normally we plan the show, we do 6 weeks, we have a break, and then we replan and reschedule before we come out. But that is but yeah, there are great speakers lined up, not just for the show, but also some of the platforms that are coming up. Yes.
Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Margaret, it's been an absolute pleasure to interview you. If I know you mentioned it a little bit, but if people want to reach you, what's the best way of them connecting with you?
Definitely. Active in LinkedIn. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. I'd love to give a mention. Thank you, Dr. Rogers, because she taught me so much on LinkedIn, all right, how to operate the page. So definitely LinkedIn is one of your best places to get hold of me, because I'm always on LinkedIn and posting and making comments, and others as well. But definitely LinkedIn, and also Facebook as well. I love Facebook in terms of when they send you a message, it comes straight to Messenger. So you definitely can get hold of us there. And if you want to come and speak as well, you've been watching us, you've been following the talk show as I post it on LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything, and you think, you know what, I want to come and speak, again, just DM me messages. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, or you can DM as well. I'm happy to respond as well. So Margaret, thank you again so much. And thank you everyone for listening to Margaret Thorli's story. I'm sure you heard stuff that you hadn't known about Margaret before. I know I have. You heard for the first time as well. So Margaret, thank you again, and thank you everyone for joining in. And when's the next show then? Is it next week, or is that it now?
Yes, funny enough, this is our 6th week.
It is the 6th week, so it's the final one till the next series. So everyone, thank you again. Thank you for all your support, all the beautiful comments we received, and to all our guests as well. Again, like we've mentioned before, we've had a number of amazing guests. And listen, I'm going to leave the final words with our host and guest today. Margaret, what else do you have to say?
Again, honestly, first I have to say really a big, massive thank to God who has made it possible throughout this journey. And I want to thank God for the most amazing people that He's brought in my life. Like, for example, this couldn't have done God as it is without you being consistent and being supportive. From the first day, you kind of, I want to be part of this, and you've been consistent no matter what. So I want to say thank you to you, because you really came running and began to work with me. And so I want to thank you that. And I want to thank you to all the destiny helpers that God has brought into our life to make this a reality. And to all the amazing speakers, we love you, we love you, we love you, we love you. And we look forward to connect with you. Thank you. And yes, Dr. Rogers, I know, thank you very much for teaching me how to use the platform. God bless you. Thank you so much, my king, for interviewing me today. It's got it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.